It was a regular evening in a regular city when residents in a neighborhood heard a crash at a local restaurant. When police arrived at the scene, they were shocked at what they found. In the kitchen, next to an open bag of bread, a jar of peanut butter stood with a knife sticking out of it, and a trail of chocolate chips led out the back door. What was the point of this peanut butter blunder? And who would commit such a heinous crime? These are the questions that plague investigators.
I don't know if I want to talk about it. I don't know if I can take it. It was the worst case I ever worked on in my life.
Well, I was walking my dog, and we were going down the street, and we were passing by that one famous restaurant, the French Laundry, it's called, and there was some noise from the kitchen in the back alley, and so I peeked around the corner, and I saw this figure running away, but they weren't running away, they were ambling away. It was weird because I'd never seen them in this part of town.
The night that she broke into Alinea, it just... the way she threw common sense through the window, human decency, any sense of sanity, and made a peanut butter toast with chocolate chips on top. Chocolate chips on top. Of just toast. In Alinea. They have smoke, that's food.
This culprit, it was a woman. She was wearing this jean jacket and a camp shirt and some really comfortable leggings and really cute boots. I remember the boots, they were memorable. But I called the police, and only later did I realize that the reason she'd been ambling was because she had made herself peanut butter toast in the restaurant.
It truly stung me. It truly stung me. Why? Why would you do that? What's your childhood like?
But that led to the question, why peanut butter toast? What's the big deal with peanut butter toast?
There's almost unanimous agreement among the scientists in my field as to the perfect ratio of peanut butter to chocolate in peanut butter toast. This is one that achieves the Reese's effect. However, there is some disagreement as to how to achieve this ratio. I found that chocolate chips on top of peanut butter laid upon recently toasted toast is the most effective, most repeatable manner. Because this is so difficult, it's not hard to see how an otherwise good or law-abiding citizen could be turned to a crime in order to get this most perfect and delicious piece of toast.
Detectives didn't know where to turn.
Why couldn't I solve it? Why couldn't I find you?
They turned to the public, hoping that someone would be able to help them solve the case.
And actually, you know what? If anybody out there could help me out with this, if you see somebody that is as far they're about between the sizes of a Keebler elf and a large outdoor snowman, like a plastic one from the 80s or something, or a large child is the size, and then just kind of a brown this going on up top is the best way to describe that. What else to say? Giggles like a Muppet, kind of that. She really enjoyed that fucking peanut butter toast. And I tell you what, it gets under my skin every goddamn day. Every day. Every day.
With no leads, they turned to science to try to solve the crime.
What we're able to do is take the molecular structure of the peanut butter and identify the evidence found at the scene of the crime and match it to a specific style of peanut butter. In this case, Jif was used, which is highly unusual to find in such a high-end restaurant such as Café Lucrene. So Café Lucrene uses a very specific natural peanut butter that they grind on site, but this natural peanut butter misses a lot of the sugars that you will find in typical peanut butter. In this case, Jif was used. The thing that's unique about the toast that was made at the scene of the crime is it used Café Lucrene's own sourdough starter in the bread. So it has its own molecular footprint, its own specific biome for the fungus that is used to make the yeast that is used to make this bread itself. So we were able to isolate that the bread was used from Café Lucrene, but the peanut butter was brought in from an outside source. Now it's hard to identify what specifically the chocolate chips were used from. That took a little bit more doing, and I had to put it through the mass spec a couple of times, and isolating those variables was really difficult, but we were able to identify it as General Hershey's semi-sweet baking chocolate. So there's a weird combination of highly generalized. The peanut butter and the chocolate chips were both obviously brought from outside, but the bread and was also toasted in the 5-star restaurant. This is a highly unusual case, and I've never had to use this kind of forensic evidence to isolate such a specific thing. Also, we were able to obtain 2 hairs from the scene of the crime, one of which was dark and long and curly, kind of like the person had really curly long hair, and there was another one that was white and rather short. Now I could figure out that this wasn't human hair. It seemed like it was probably from a rodent, and when you looked at it under the microscope, you could see that it was obviously from a very sassy rabbit who was obviously going through a big shed right now, because there was quite a bit of hair left at the scene of the crime.
With this new hair evidence, investigators were soon able to narrow it down to one suspect, one peanut butter toast loving 27-year-old Jessica.
My interests were concerned.
I just got a text
So,
Jessica is being accused of breaking into a restaurant and making peanut butter toast.
what?
Yeah. There's no way. She would never do that.
It's probably that Jonathan. He's such a bad influence.
Oh,
Everybody who knew Jessica was shocked to hear that she would have committed such a crime. But would a jury find her guilty, or would the evidence be found lacking?
You know, when you take a real deep look into the evidence around the case and some of the eyewitness testimony that came up, it seems pretty clear and definitely beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant was guilty. You know, having taken a look at some of this stuff, the evidence is entirely circumstantial, and I am really shocked that this was even brought up as a case in the first place.
The case was confusing, with no clear motive, and everyone thinking that the crime took place at a different restaurant. It was quickly thrown out of court. So for now, the city lies in wait of when the peanut butter toast bandit will hit again. Will your favorite restaurant be next?